What's going on YouTube? Is Donnie B all day, and I'll tell you what, I have got a battle of the freaking heavyweights coming at you today. Two of my literal all-time favorite knives. I mean, all-time favorites. Let's see, we're gonna start with this big guy right here. Comes in a leather sheath. This is the Sheffield MOD with a black phosphate coated freaking high carbon, I think it's 1095 steel blade. It's 12, I think, and a quarter overall with a 7-inch blade. This thing was designed for the British military. This was their fighting knife, and it is by all freaking means a fighting knife. Now the next one I'm going to show you is, man, I'll tell you what, this thing is super. This one has the black traction coating on a 1095 high carbon blade. This is Topps Mission Team 21, and it is fantastic. You got some let's see, some let's you know what, all right, that's all I have to say about that. I'm like Forrest Gump. That's all I have to say about it. I love you, Jen A. So here we go. Let's talk about these first. I'm not a fan of dropped leg nylon sheaths. I don't like them, and the reason is because knives are meant to be carried, and if you have this thing from a belt here hanging down a leg all the way down to your freaking toenails, it probably is not going to look good in most towns you live in, right? Unless you live somewhere in the Adirondacks, you're not going to be carrying a sword on your freaking leg or something that looks like it. So I like when the belt loop is around there, you know what I mean? So it's a high rise. So literally this, it's like carrying a an under the shirt, out of the body, you know, belt holster for a gun. It's the same thing. You want as little showing as possible. That's what I like in a knife. It's okay to have to grab it from, you know, from here rather than way down here and being able to, oh, I have the power. We're not talking He-Man, guys. This is freaking real world knife stuff. But this one right here, even though it's still a drop leg and it holds down, it does, let's see, it does hold maybe an inch shorter, even though it's about a ½ inch longer of a knife. It's a leather sheath, and I am an absolute fan of leather sheaths. They wear out, yeah, sure, over time they do, but when you get good quality leather, and this one's good leather sheath, they last a while. This one I've had now for, you know, over a year, and this leather looks brand spanking new, and I've carried this thing, right? So let's get out of the sheaths. When it comes down to them, if we're talking battle for battle, I prefer the leather sheath over the Topps nylon sheath, even though the Topps nylon sheath is a very good sheath. It has a little pocket in it and everything. Ooh. I don't care about that. So size for size, we're looking at like a 6.6 inch blade and a 7-inch blade, same size handles. This one's 11 3/4 overall. This one is 12 1/4 overall. So you're literally a ½ inch difference. Thickness, blade thickness. These are highway freaking on-ramps. They are thick. I'm talking thick. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are thick. These are some thick ass. Now, you could lay bricks right next to these and they would line up almost perfectly. Awesome, awesome, fantastic. Now, it's a battle of the heavyweights because these are both 30 pounds each. They are fucking heavy. But they're heavy for a reason, because they are made to attack whatever needs attacking. Drop point, this is like a what is it, like a spear point, I think it's called. Freaking awesome. Now I'm really good at taking care of my blades and wiping off after I use them. This one I use a lot, and you can see some brownish coloring, and that'll literally, I'll clean that up. It's against me to have let it sit like that for that long to where it's gonna tarnish, but who cares. On this one, the only reason that you're not gonna find that is because look at the edge. Look at the edge profile right here. You see that big shiny part, right? That's the grinded out edge, and that is a beautiful, sharp, awesome edge. This one, you're like, well, where's all that shiny stuff? Oh wait, it's right about there. This is made for stabbing and hacking. It's not made for slicing. Does it have an edge? Hell yeah, it has an edge. Let's see if we can get that. You know, it's got an edge. You know, look at that. Look at that. It's sharpened, and a lot of people would complain, and they'd say about the Sheffield MOD. They'd say, "Oh, it doesn't have an edge. Oh, it's not sharp. Oh, this thing's dull." Really? Let me slice across your throat for 10 bucks. I'll do it for free. Let me slice across your throat. If you think this has no edge, volunteer yourself, stand in front of me, and let me do this. One time, I'll even hold it there and then go. All right? It has an edge. People are just such whiny bitches that they complain about everything. Now, this one has like a quasi false edge on top, which takes meat away from the spine, right? Meat on the spine means a tough ass spine. I'm not worried about that with tops, however, because they have a super freaking heat treat. Now, here's the thing about their heat treat. Even on their knives with 90-degree spines, which this one does not have because of the double jimping, you know, it's got that jimping here, and then it sinks to another jimping, and then it goes right into the false edge. On Tops knives, they heat treat in sections. It's different. So here, you might have a 58 Rockwell hardness, but here is going to be nowhere near. Here might be a 52, 40, I don't know. It's soft on the top, so they suck for striking. However, they make great cutting blades and great cutting lengths. So right here, if I use this last 1/4 inch to strike a ferro rod, I'm not ruining my knife. I'm only sacrificing just dulling this little piece of blade, but this right here will strike fire. This guy right here is a 90. You can strike there. However, you notice the ricasso on this thing is non-existent. I mean, it's right there. It's tiny, which means if I need to light a ferro rod, I'm not using the spine. I'm using the very base of the edge. Easy money. Now, this has got a G10 handle. This has got like a nylon handle, right? Both handles are built well. This one's got the finger grooves and the shape and the great looks. I mean, look at the green and black patterning. It's just freaking beautiful. The white scales and the white liners in these scales right here just make it so damn attractive. Being an amazing knife, to have it look amazing and be amazing, it's just bonus. This one, I think it looks awesome personally, but I mean, it's no frills, it's nothing special. One thing I did want to talk about is here. All right, there's no false edge. This is just a gigantic piece of freaking steel. This literally looks like the leaf spring of a tractor trailer. It is. Do they have tractor trailer leaf springs? I don't fucking know. But that's what it would look like if a tractor trailer had a leaf spring. It's just bad. But what happens when you don't file away some of this right here? Look at this. What? It's a damn crowbar all the way to the freaking tip. This thing is solid. Now, talking about handles, we looked at the G10. The G10's beautiful. It's got this great shape. It is what it is. It's fucking wonderful. One thing I didn't talk about is this choil. Guys, giant hands, big choil. Choil. That really gives that front jimping meaning, because without you using the choil, putting your hands here, you lose control, but you have good grip. Here you have good grip and control because they sink the jimping, and it's in perfect, I mean perfect line for where you put your finger in that freaking choil. Love this knife. So here, no choil, no jimping, no frills, handguard. This handguard will save you. It gives you control. If you need to put your thumb here, if you need to put your finger here, there's so much meat in this spine that it doesn't matter what it doesn't have. It's what it does have that makes the difference. Now, let's get back on track here. I want to talk about this handle. For any of you who haven't watched my video on the Sheffield MOD, well, what's wrong with you? Go watch it, and that one. All right, go watch the Tops Mission Team 21 video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe, because if you haven't, I was reading the Surgeon General list. It says all those who haven't subscribed to Donnie B All Day's channel, you're sissies. So if you don't want to be a sissy, guys, I mean, hey, I'm not labeling. This is what the law says. All right. It's in the books. So basically, what we have here in this handle is the absolute most genius thing that you could think of. This was designed for Great Britain's Special Forces soldiers, guys that are going in the shit. All right. So here's the thing, lanyard hole, yeah. Lanyard hole, no. Here's the thing with this. A lot of people get these knives and they look at these knives and they say, oh my God, this knife is sucky. There's no edge. Really? Let me check you. And then the scales don't even fit the knife. Look at that. And some people who are really say, oh man, they put oversized scales on there so you can sand it down to your own grip liking. No, guys, that's not why they do this. They do this because they're smarter than you. Check this out. The reason that these scales pop up over the spine is because you're not always guaranteed to be fighting a war in 75-degree weather. You're not. So therefore, as you notice, the pins are sunk in. The pins on this side are sunk in, but they do have, you know, obviously they need something to put on, pound on. And these all the way around, you can see, are oversized. And the reason for this is because this is all steel, right? And if you are in a cold weather situation and this is steel and you grab it, your hands are going to get cold spots, right? They're going to freeze when you grab this freaking steel. Like if I grab this, you'll notice the steel is flush. If it's cold, all that cold steel is touching my skin. On this one right here, there is no steel touching the skin. So if you are without a glove, you are safe from the cold. That is genius. What else is genius is making it so fat and so thick that your entrance wound isn't going to be nice and tight to where a person can try to patch it up. Your entrance wound is going to be damaging. It's going to be fat, thick, and hard to stop the bleeding. This knife is made to kill. This knife is made to thrill. But both of them are freaking awesome. Look at this. If this was on a spit right now, you'd be like, oh my God, do I want the chicken breast or the ribs? They are both awesome. So let's hack away at a few things. Let's try and slice a little something and get a good balance for what these guys do. All right, my friends. So here we go. We're going to do a little aluminum can slice. Right? We're going to start with the tops because I have confidence in this edge, because this is a sharp, beautiful sharp edge. I have confidence that this should sear through quick and easy and painlessly. And man, beep, look at that. Freaking awesome, right? And the edge obviously hasn't been honed because you see all the little oxidation marks on it, which means I haven't done anything to that edge. That's natural after a ton of usage, and you can tell it's been used because of the oxidation. Now, the Sheffield MOD, which is like swinging a fucking cinder block. Now, for all of you who say the Sheffield MOD sucks because it doesn't have an edge, again, put your finger like this and let me swat at it. This is what's going to happen. Guys, don't listen to people tell you that I'm walking away, but I'm still here, I promise, I didn't go anywhere. Don't listen to people who are going to tell you that this knife sucks because it doesn't have an edge. It has an edge, and I'm going to show you that right now with some chops. And after I stop the video. Uh-oh. Oh, I got it wet and now it's having a hard time stopping. So instead of stopping the video, I'm just gonna go. Now here's the thing with me, guys. I don't do a whole lot of editing. I don't like to rewind and cut out video, because I think, you know, if I want to give you the truth, I want to give you the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. So I like to continuously go. I'll press stop and then I'll press start. But I'm not going to record something and then say, ooh, I don't like the way that looks, or ooh, that doesn't do my video justice. So I'm going to edit it. No, I don't do that because that's not fair to you guys. That's like cheating to me. And if I make a mistake with a blade, or if a blade doesn't perform well, that means I can cut and edit out that part and then do something different and pretend, oh, this knife is much better than this. No, if the knife fucks up, I'm gonna let you know. So I don't do a lot of that editing. I don't do a lot of that stopping, and I'm not gonna do it right now. I screwed up. I left it running. Let's play. Sheffield MOD, the knife without an edge. All right, so let's find a spot y'all can see out here. And I mean, right away, this thing is a devastating chopper. It is a chopper beyond choppers. And why? Because it's heavy, it's big, it's like an axe. Look at this hole I'm putting in this damn thing right here. That was flat literally a few seconds ago. That was like that hole was not there. And look at this thing. As far as survival knives that chop, this is the single best chopping survival knife I've ever used. And why? Because it has an edge like an axe, right? It's not a paper cutting edge. This is a bone chop through edge. I mean, right there, I just knocked out a freaking, look at this. I just knocked out a knot. Look at the hole I just put in with this no-edged knife. It's big, it's heavy, it's burly, it's thick, it's fucking bad. And I don't have to worry about dulling it because the edge that's there is going to stay because it's not a refined edge. It's a sharp edge, but not a finely honed edge. If you guys can understand what I'm trying to say there. So now, let's take this guy, take a nice flat piece just like we did with the other one, and we'll chop. Now, this one has a finely honed edge. And while it's a great chopper, and I mean a great chopper, it is nowhere near the chopper, and I don't mean nowhere near because, I mean, I'm doing some damage with this. It's not as good of a chopper as the Sheffield only because of the weight, right? This thing is designed to do everything survival-wise, not just hack off limbs, where that Sheffield, man, that's pretty much made for hacking off limbs. However, look at this hole right here. And that's, you guys, I chopped for like 10 seconds. Ah! Don't rewind that and check because it might have been like 13 seconds. I don't want you guys to think I'm lying to you. Freaking awesome. Here's a little thing I want to tell you about this tip. This tip has almost like a little dent on it. I stuck this into some tar on accident. On accident, because in my original video, I believe, I threw this down, it hit a log, and then it bounced back and it stuck into the blacktop. So while the edge still isn't damaged, look at that, it's still a great, I mean, a tip isn't damaged, it's still a great tip. There's no folds, no bends. It's not needle point sharp like it was out of the box because I stuck it into some tar. And it only just took off the needle point part of the tip, but it didn't damage it. It was kind of crazy when you think about it like that. It's stuck into blacktop. Awesome. So let's see, how do they chop? How do they fare as far as chopping? These guys both freaking chop. But can you baton with them? Yeah. Oh, here's a little thing I want to say. The this coating, the black textured coating here, it's like a gripping coat, and then this is like the black phosphate. The phosphate coating isn't as good as this coating. This coating right here is just magic. For some reason, all the stuff I've done with this, I have a really hard time knocking any of that crap off, even where the edge meets the coating. You know what I mean? Usually that's where you get a little bow. You see it a lot with like the Becker knives. The coating will wear right here. This one, it is yet to have any. This one, there's scratches in the coating. The coating's not really peeling off or rubbing off. You can see the bottom, but it does scratch. So let's keep going. I'm gonna see if this stops. No, so I'm gonna have to actually hit power and then restart it. All right, so apparently cell phones don't like getting wet. And it's happened before where I accidentally got the cell phone wet and then I couldn't press pause or stop or whatever. So it would behoove you to try and keep your cell phone dry when doing these tests. All right, so we're going to take the Sheffield MOD and try and baton with it a little bit. Now remember, you cannot baton without an edge, right? So says the Reaper. So if this thing doesn't have an edge, then this, which is happening, cannot happen. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but the crack is just a gigantic gap because this knife is an axe, essentially. It is an axe in a knife's body, right? And I can feel very comfortable hacking away at the tip of this knife because it's so thick. Now, I'm balancing this on this, like here, and this is why it's so difficult. If I was on something hard, like if I had rocks around here, this is all soft dirt, and if I do it without putting something under it, I will never get through because I'm just going to hammer this into the ground like a stake. So if you're thinking that, oh man, it doesn't look like it's going through that well, no, it has nothing to do with the knife. It has everything to do with what the knife is sitting on, and it's just sliding off everywhere. But you can see, I mean, look at the spread. Look at that freaking spread. Normally you don't have that when batoning with a sharpened knife, like a finely honed knife. So this thing, I'm having a bitch of a time because the bottom of this looks like that. So trying to balance that, it's a bitch. It's a bitch. So let's try, get through this guy right here. Now, because I keep losing the balance, I'm coming off of the actual log, and it's making me lose my tip, so giving me less to actually strike over here. So I'm just striking this side, and it's working, but I'm sliding off, and it's driving me freaking bananas. So what I might do is press stop and go put this on something hard so I can finish it, because it's kicking my ass. Actually, I wonder if I can just do this. Let me see, guys. This is where all these outdoor skills come in, right? So if I can hammer this in a little bit to give myself some more tip. Well, I'm pretty sure there's a few bars in town where you hear that a lot. Give me some more tip. But let's see. Yeah, this is working. This is working, fellas and fellettes, boys and girls, ladies and gents. All right, so let us try and continue on the unbalanced log here. You see, I mean, you see it's working. It would just work better if I thought about putting it on something more stable to start with, which I did not, and it's a huge mistake. Now, going through the knot takes a little bit, but it wouldn't if I obviously had something more stable. I keep sliding off. It's kicking my ass. Okay, so I just got through the knot, and it literally just opened right up. So this big knot right here was causing me so much grief. Now, the thing is, with this knife, I mean, I almost don't have to show you, there's zero edge damage. With this being such a big round edge, the chances for warping, wobbling, waving, it's just not going to happen with this knife. I mean, it is not going to happen. When you're talking about a fine edge, and this is thick, so this is not what I would consider, you know, I'm talking like your standard buoy that you, like a Walmart $20 buoy, like you guys see me do the Schrade old timer buoy, and I put a freaking warp in that thing, woo, because it's not thick and the edge is too fine. It's really, the edge profile is really long, and what that does is it makes the edge unstable for a pounding like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this guy right here, and I know you just went through the worst 40 minutes of your life watching me hack at that last piece, but you're going to see the difference. And this one is already cut, obviously. I just used it, so it will be easier. However, it's still going to show you its ability, especially on an uneven surface, to baton. All right, you know, I'm just gonna go right through. There we go. And I'm sliding off. What happened is I've been moving this thing along that log so much that it took off the bark, so now it's that slippery underbark, and it's causing it to be a pain in the freaking nut. Let me see. I'm just going to put it on another piece over here. Piece that came off, a flat piece. And my bad. Anyway, it got through. It was no problem. I don't even know how it stopped. I think it rolled over onto a stick and it stopped itself. So after batoning, is there any edge damage? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Nothing. No warping, no bowing, no waving. Nothing that shouldn't be there is there. It's just awesome. Now, batoning. Did we remove any of the black coating? Abso-freaking-lutely not. Because Tops uses some of the best freaking coating that you'll ever see. It's just awesome. Let's keep going. All right, guys, so this is what we're going to do. I am going to chuck these guys. Now, I have an issue because they're both so very different. Trying to throw them consecutively might not be a good thing, because if I can get one successful, trying to match that on the very next throw is going to be really, really hard. But you guys are really, really worth it. So, let us try. Let us try. Let us try. Tops. Mission Team 21. Holy shit, that fucking flew nice. Oh my gosh, I hit the tip. I hit the tip. The problem is I'm trying to throw a crowbar. Let's try that again. That hit the tip. It's just so big and fat. Oh, I hit the tip again. All right, so you can see, guys, look at the sap on the edge of that, right? I literally hit the tip twice in a row, which means I'm hitting exactly where I want to hit. It's just not going in. I'm going to try a different kind of throw. And that one didn't fare too well. Now I have to find it. Oh, I found it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it one more try. And the problem is I keep hitting the freaking tip. It's just when you're talking about a tip so big and so thick, it makes it very, very hard to stick. Oh! I threw that so hard. Guys, I shit you not. When I threw that, I heard the whoosh go by my ear. That Tops was in there. Holy crap. All right, so I went back to my original throw, the style anyway, and it worked. Tried changing it up halfway through. Didn't work. This guy was just, oh my God. I mean, it looks like a spear for a freaking reason. Wow. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the rack. So here we are. We've done it again. We pitted two amazing knives against one another in a battle to the death, or to the decision of which one is better. Now here's the thing. Sometimes you'll hear me say there's always a clear winner. Always you'll have one knife that stands out above the other. Blah, 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 blah. But when I did the Ontario Rat 7 versus the Becker BK7, I don't think I had a clear winner there either. It's just too freaking difficult. And the reason is because they both are better in different places. As far as hacking and stabbing and killing, this Sheffield MOD is probably literally one of the best on the planet for that. I mean, it is just an animalistic, badass, Rambo should own one type of knife. It's awesome. Then you have the Team 21, the Mission Team 21 by Tops, which is by far one of the best survival knives you'll ever put in your hand. It is just one of those top tier knives. And I think, and I haven't battled it yet against some of the others, But I think if the Tops 21 loses to anything, it's going to be for weight alone. For this battle, I wanted weight. That was the key. I wanted to test heavy to heavy. As far as survival knives are concerned, the Mission Team 21 is heavy. It's going to be something that you're going to feel on your side, and things like the Tops. What do you call it? Because I'm totally brain farting. Blah 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 blah. But let's see, the SE6, the steel wheel roamer. There it is. Just the weight is what really makes the difference in those knives to this knife. It's as capable as any, but it's just heavy. When comparing it to the MOD, which is a heavy knife, now all of a sudden you're not talking about, well, the weight is going to hurt you, because the weight is right on. If you're using it for what these are made for, just high power survival, need to kill, fight in the bush, attacked by a bear, these things right here are going to be the knives that you want. You want something that you can swing with power, and these guys are going to do it. So as far as the coating without a doubt 100% goes to Tops. As far as the edge, as far as a cutting edge, the cutting edge on the Tops is by far better. The chopping edge on the MOD is better. The handle construction and purpose on the Sheffield MOD is better. Having a handguard, I love, but I also love a choil with jimping, so I'm going to call that a tie. I like the sheath better on the MOD, but that's personal preference. That doesn't make it a better sheath, so I'm going to call that a tie. I can throw with ease that Mission Team 21, and it flies beautifully. The Sheffield flies beautifully as well. However, being so thick, it's harder to stick. So I'm going to give that edge to the Tops. When it came down to chopping the log, the MOD was better. When it came time to doing batoning, here's where it's tricky, because the Sheffield actually batons like an axe. It spreads the wood very well. It goes through very well. I had it on an imbalanced log, and then I used just a half of that log to use with the Tops, which went through pretty easily because A, it was a smaller log, and B, it just has a finer edge. However, if I needed to do long-term batoning, if I was going to do, an entire stack of firewood, I would want the Sheffield, because there's less of a risk for damage. So, guys, this was insanely hard. I didn't think it was going to be this hard. I went into this thinking one was going to outperform the other just because of shape, mainly. And what I found out was that if you're going to own one, own the other. The Tops Mission Team 21 is just an insane heavy survival knife. The Sheffield MOD is an insane survival knife that is also an insane war knife. It's just a war knife. Even though the Mission Team 21 was designed for that purpose, to be able to go into war. I know when I'm in Afghanistan and it's crazy bloody hot out there, and I have all my gear on, I don't want to add too much weight. But I can say the same damn thing about the Sheffield MOD, and that's what it's for. So it's like, man, I don't know, man. It's just, this is going to be one of the rare times where you're asking for a winner and I'm telling you to bite me, because I cannot decide not just which one I like better, but if there's one better. I mean, these knives, they're both high carbon chunks of railroad tie. They are amazing, and they just simply can't be beat. As much as I can sit here and want one of them to be better, it's just impossible to determine that. So the Tops Mission Team 21, the Sheffield MOD, are they both worth it? Hell freaking yes. Buy these knives and see for yourself. You will fall in double mint love. I am Donnie B all day, and until next knife.